Hey, if you're here with me again, welcome back. And if this is your first time you've ever clicked on one of my videos, I'm really glad you're here too. I want to talk to you today. You, the person who has done a lot of work on yourself. You've thought deeply about who you are. You've tried to be honest. You've reflected. You've maybe done some therapy, coaching, journaling, late night conversations, all of it. And yet, when it comes to love and relationships, there's still this fog, this ache. You hear people say things like, you have to love yourself before you can love someone else. And a part of you thinks, yeah, that makes sense. And another part of you feels this quiet sting of, okay, then what's wrong with me? Because I still don't feel how I want to feel, either with myself or with other people. If that's you, this isn't going to be another video where I'd lecture at you or drop hot takes. I want this to feel more like a long letter. Or like you and I are sitting in a room and you finally exhale and we get to untangle this together. So if you ever felt confused by that whole self-love conversation, you're in the right place. This one is for you. Recently, I was listening to a debate between a couple of well-known mental health voices online. They were talking about this exact topic: self-love, relationships, and which one comes first. And as I listened, I realized they were describing a tension you might feel inside your own chest. One side of the argument goes something like this: if you don't love yourself, you'll sabotage every relationship you're in. You'll cling, you'll settle, you'll overgive, you'll push good people away. So step one is fix the relationship with you. Love yourself first. Then, and only then, you'll finally be able to love and be loved well. There's some truth in that. If my inner world is hostile, it absolutely affects how I show up with you. The other side said something different. Wait, you don't just wake up one day magically loving yourself. You learn how to love yourself from how others treat you. From family, from friends, from partners, from community, self-love is taught socially. And it is conditioned. Trying to manufacture it alone in your room is incredibly hard. And there's truth in that too. Most of us had our sense of worth, love, and safety modeled long before we had the language for it. So if you're listening to this from the middle of your real life, you might feel something like, great, so which impossible thing am I supposed to do first? Do I go off by myself and learn to love me in isolation? Or do I wait around hoping the right people appear and finally show me how? It can make you feel like you're failing at both. And as I sat with that debate, there was a third one I didn't hear either of them saying out loud, but I could feel it in myself, deep in myself. And that's what inspired this video, and that is the thing I want to share and explore with you today. The third piece is your capacity to receive. And this is how I'll put it into words. We don't just love ourselves or get loved by others. Rather, there's something in the middle that quietly decides what's allowed in. We give ourselves permission to be loved or to be despised by ourselves and by other people. There's a part of you that moment by moment is deciding how much kindness is allowed, how much care feels safe, how much closeness feels okay, and how much of it is too much even if you say that you want it. That's what I mean when I say the capacity to receive. Not just, do I want love? Well, Most people would say yes, absolutely. But when love actually shows up internally from yourself or from someone else, how does your system manage it? What does it do with it? When someone says, I appreciate you, can you let that land? When you do something caring for yourself, do you feel it? Or do you blow past it like it doesn't count? When someone moves closer emotionally or physically, do you soften? Or does your body prepare to run? Your capacity to receive is like the setting on that invisible dial. I'm not saying this in a blamey way. This isn't, well, you just don't receive enough, so it's your fault you're unhappy. What I'm pointing to is there's a way your nervous system and your beliefs and your identity all come together to decide how much love am I willing and able to let in without freaking out, freezing, or pushing it away. And that is something we can gently work with together. I want to give you a picture you can hold on to mentally. Something simple that you can come back to when you're in your life trying to feel your way through this. Imagine that your capacity to receive love is like a cup. Some people are walking around with a very small cup. Not because they're weak, not because they're broken, but because growing up, love came with strings attached. It did for me. Or they were only seen when they were useful. That applies too. Or love was unpredictable and scary. All three of these have been true for me. So in their system, I've learned, or we've learned, that only let a bit in. More than that is dangerous. When your cup is small, even a little bit of kindness or attention can feel like too much. Maybe you've had the experience where somebody gives you a genuine compliment and you immediately deflect it. Somebody offers to help and you feel guilty instead of supported. Someone really sees you and your first instincts is to change the subject or make a joke. That doesn't mean you're ungrateful. It means your cup is already full or already overwhelmed. Other people have, over time, a bigger cup. They've had experiences through healing, through relationships, through practice, where more compassion, more closeness, more honest reflection became safe to hold. They can let a little more in before their system panics. The important thing here is this. The size of the cup is not a moral grade. It's a reflection of what your body and your heart learned about safety. And it's also not fixed. We can grow the size of our cup. And we'll talk about how in a bit. Now, it's not just the size of the cup, but what's already inside. Imagine a cup has been sitting out for years, filled with old liquid. Some of that liquid is made of thoughts and beliefs like, I'm too much. I'm not enough. People always leave. If they knew the real me, they'd run. My needs are a burden. I have to earn every bit of care I receive. Some of it was poured in by parents, some by early relationships, some by culture, community, religion, and let's be honest, most of it is, online on the internet, right? And over time, all of that mixes into this emotional flavor you're used to drinking every day. Now imagine someone comes along with clean water, a kind partner, a safe friend, a version of you that's actually trying to care for yourself. They pour water into that cup. It doesn't just stay pure. It runs through all of that old liquid. So a simple phrase like, I care about you, can hit your system as pressure. Now I owe you. Suspicion. You must want something. Fear. If I let this in, I'll be dependent and then you'll leave. The love isn't wrong. Your reaction isn't wrong neither. It's just passing through everything that's already in that cup. This is why you can have all the self-help books, a loving friend or partner, practical tools, and it still feels like you're drinking something bitter because of what's already inside your container. Here's the part that's both confronting and also liberating. You probably didn't choose most of what initially filled your cup. You didn't get to pick out your childhood, your first heartbreak, or the exact words people have used about you. But now as an adult, you do have a say in what you keep drinking. That doesn't mean you just slap positive affirmations on top and call it a day, even though I love positive affirmations, and we'll probably get to that in a future video. But rather, it means we start to notice this particular flavor of self-hate. Who does this actually sound like? Does it sound like a parent? Does it sound like an ex? Does it sound like that coach who made you feel small? Does it sound like a bully? Like an online culture that profits off your insecurity? If the answer is yes to any of these, then you get to say, this thought may be familiar, but it's not sacred. I don't have to keep pouring it into my system. We're going to talk about how to actually do that in a very gentle, real way. But first, I want to connect this to how you relate to love from yourself and from other people. When you drink from the same cup long enough, something really important happens. What you think about yourself becomes what you feel. What you feel over and over becomes who you believe you are. It's no longer, I'm having a thought that I might be unlovable. It turns into, I am unlovable. It's not, I'm having a thought that people always leave. It's, people always leave me because of who I am. That identity sits between you and every person who tries to love you, and even between you and every attempt you make to care for yourself. So imagine someone genuinely kind walks into your life. Or imagine you start doing small acts of self-care, resting more, feeding yourself better, saying no when you're exhausted. If the identity under the surface is I'm too much, I'm a burden, I'm always the one who messes things up, then everything you receive runs through that. Love feels like charity instead of a partnership. Care feels like proof that you're failing. Compliments feel like lies or pressure. And you might start to think, I'm doing the work, I'm in a relationship, I'm trying. But why do I still feel so empty? From where I sit now, the big part of that answer is because your capacity to receive hasn't caught up yet. The cup is either too small, too full of old liquid, or both. So I don't want you to hear, just love yourself more, or just find other people. I want to offer a third path. Let's gently change what's in the cup and slowly expand how much you can hold. So let me guide you through gentle practices to grow your capacity. I'm going to walk you through a few practices, and you don't have to remember all of them, and you don't have to do them perfectly. Take what works for you and leave what doesn't, as always, on this channel. Think of it like this. I'm handling you a small collection of tools. You get to choose one or two that feel doable for where you are in your self-healing journey. Are you ready? Take a deep breath with me first. Practice number 1. I call it the daily cup check. At least once a day or whenever you notice you're spiraling, I want you to pause and ask, what's in my cup right now? You can write this in a journal or speak it softly out loud or just notice internally. It might sound like, right now, my mind is serving me. I'm behind. I'm failing. Everyone else has it figured out but me. Or, right now, my thoughts are, of course they're going to leave. This always happens. Or, right now, the flavor is, who do you think you are to want more? The goal here is not to fix it. The goal here is to see it. To move from this is the truth to this is what I'm drinking today. Right? Be kind to yourself. That bit of distance is powerful. You're no longer just chugging the cup with your eyes closed. You're saying, okay, this is what's in here. Practice number 2. I call it asking yourself, whose voice is this? When you notice a particularly harsh, familiar, or heavy thought, I want you to get curious. Ask, who does this actually sound like? Not in a way that blames them forever, but in a way that tells the truth. Maybe it sounds like a parent who only showed love when you performed, a partner who made you feel small so they could feel big, a teacher or coach who shamed you, a religious or cultural message that told you you were inherently wrong. If you can identify a source even vaguely, I want you to try saying inside or out loud, this started as their voice. I carried it so long it feels like mine. But it is not the voice I want to keep drinking from. Then, you can literally visualize pouring that thought out of the cup. Maybe you see yourself at a sink, tipping it out. Maybe you see yourself pouring it into the ground and watching it disappear. Is that going to erase it instantly? No. But over time, it will start to loosen its authority. Instead of, this is just who I am, it becomes, this is something I've learned. And if I learned it, I can learn something else. Practice number 3, from poison to neutral. A lot of self-love advice jumps straight to, just tell yourself you're amazing, tell yourself you're worthy, tell yourself you love you. For some people, that works. For a lot of people, it feels fake and almost makes things worse. So we're not going to do that in this video. Instead of jumping from I'm disgusting to I'm beautiful or no one will ever love me to I am deeply lovable, I want you to aim for neutral as a bridge. For example, from I'm disgusting to I'm a human being having a really hard day. From no one will ever love me to I don't know what the future holds. Some people haven't loved me well. That doesn't mean no one ever will. From I ruin everything to I've made mistakes. That's different from being a mistake. Neutral might not sound inspiring, but if you're used to drinking poison for so long, neutral is medicine. Over time, as neutral becomes more familiar, genuinely kinder thoughts will feel less threatening. You'll have created a little more room in your cup to receive them. Practice number 4. I call it letting love land for 3 seconds. This one is simple, and it might change a lot. Next time someone compliments you, or thanks you, or makes space for you, or you do something caring for yourself, I want you to experiment with not deflecting it for just 3 seconds. Instead of, oh, it's nothing, anyone would have done that, you don't have to say that. Try this. Pause. Take one slow breath. Internally say, "This is for me." Notice what happens in your body. You might feel your chest tighten, or your stomach flip, or your throat close. That's okay. That's just your existing capacity being stretched a tiny bit. We're not trying to force you to suddenly believe you're the most amazing person in the world, even though I know you are. We're just giving your system a chance to experience, I don't have to instantly push away every bit of goodness that comes towards me. 3 seconds. That's all. That's how we grow our cup. Slowly, kindly. Practice 5. Receiving from self and others. Remember the original debate that inspired this video. You have to love yourself first. No. You learn self-love from others. What if we don't make it an argument? What if we let both be true and say, I'm allowed to practice offering myself better thoughts and better care. And I'm allowed to be around people, spaces, and communities that pour something cleaner into my cup. You don't have to do this in isolation, and you also don't have to wait passively for the perfect person to appear and fix you. If you have even one person in your life who sees you a bit more cleanly than you see yourself, you can let their view of you be the part of what refills your cup. If you don't have that person yet, spaces like this can be a start. Let me fill your cup. So let's circle back again. Do you have to love yourself before you can love someone else? Do you need other people to love you before you're able to love yourself? Those are interesting questions, but I think underneath both of them, there's a quieter, more intimate question that might matter more. When love shows up from me or from someone else, how much of it am I actually willing and able to receive? That's your capacity. That's your cup. And the hopeful part is you can slowly pour out what is clearly harming you. You can learn to question the voices that were never really yours to begin with. You can move from poison to neutral and eventually to something gentler. You can stretch your system 3 seconds at a time to let goodness in. You don't have to do it perfectly. You don't have to do it all today. But if even one part of this conversation felt like I was describing something you live with quietly, you're not weird, you're not broken. You're just at a part of the journey where awareness is ready to become embodiment, where what you know about yourself starts to turn into how you actually relate to yourself and to the people you love. If you want to keep walking that path, you're always welcome here. This space is going to keep being about self-understanding, authentic communication, presence in your body, and relationships that don't require you to abandon yourself to stay connected. If you enjoy conversations like this, you can stick around, subscribe, whatever fits for you. And if someone you care about lives in this story, you're welcome to send this to them too. Thanks for being here with me. Really. And as always, connection begins within. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.